Yes, he's going to go first. Bumi?
The last class, I don't know. Generally, I was just awed at what can be achieved with IT, monitoring so many things at the same time. I've always wondered how effectively it is to monitor all these businesses, especially hotels and all that. I knew it was IT, but in that class, it came home to me and it was like I was dumbfounded and trying to imagine how to coordinate so many things at the same time. And I was also wondering how many facility managers would they have and all that, you know. That was just, I was just able to see what IT can indeed do in helping to manage, businesses and facilities.
Super, super. Thank you. And to be honest with you, when advancement starts coming, we start thinking of how many jobs is going to kill. But the truth is, with more advancement, there are more people needed to run those systems. So we really aren't no longer afraid about what technology is going to do to the labor market. It's because we have seen that it only enhances the labor market, just that it refines us to do better at becoming useful in running those new systems, helping us to upgrade our skills so that we can run those new systems. And quite honestly, with more advanced technology, more monitoring, more data, you also find out that the level of information that you need to have to analyze, to make decisions is getting broader and broader and becoming more complex. So technology is not going to make things worse, it's only going to make things better. And that's why we need to upskill and upgrade ourselves. So thank you, Bumi, for that. Yes, next, who's going next?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
My takeaway from the last class is I got to understand that with the adoption of technology, there are lots of things that we can do, like asset management, we can keep a record of maintenance. There's like the last caller pointed out, there's the technology, we can also adopt it in hotel. It's just for to have a
Yes.
Okay. So I learned a few things, a lot of things from the class. It was an eye-opener to and able to correlate most of the things we've been learning to what we learned about technology, how we can use technology to manage a facility, any facility that we're in. He has a lot of sections, the energy section to monitor energy, security, catering, everything about the facility was integrated. It's integrated into the software, and it's aids facility manager to manage the facility, and it's really helpful. So I don't know if I could also crave your indulgence, if we could have a sample like we requested, that we could get ourselves acquainted to some of those things, play around it, so that if we want to get the original version, that we can at least know.
That's the thing about technology providers. Because we are a training organization, we are given the opportunity to have access to you as a market, as it were. We have one demo account, right? And that demo account is for us to be able to go in and see the features that are possible with it. We can't even load data into that demo account. So there's really nothing like a sample platform, because it's all hosted on a cloud server. And if I give it to you to load data into it, it's going to use up data resources, and then you're going to run your processes on it, and all of that will require backend support. There's really no small sample software. What some of them do is provide you what they call a trial, right? So a trial access. They'll say for 2 weeks, you can have your account created, and then you can put in some data and see how it works. If you like it, you pay after that time. And then for some, they will say, okay, you know what? But even before you even do the trial, they will make sure that you put in your card details, so that once the 2 weeks is over, they start billing you for the regular routine payment. I have not been able to speak with them about the subscription rates. What we have been selling so far has been enterprise installation. So we sell to companies to deploy everything they've shared with you in different modules. Every module has a price. So if you want to take just maintenance, you want to take just visitor management or whatever. So that's how we've been doing it. But if you're looking for some kind of subscription service where you can pay, little by little to gain access to the software, I have not. I think I can still work on that. So there's a possibility, but then when that happens, I'll let you know. But to be honest with you, there will be no free software sample, as I've heard some of you request for so far.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Who's going next? I need someone to just like tell me some of the functionalities, you've seen that is that some of this particular software, I mean, most softwares can do what you have explained to you anyway. What are some of the functionalities? Who can go with that?
Yeah, I think there's a maintenance planning. There's an aspect of a CMMS, computerized maintenance management system, which the software can undo.
So maintenance management, yes. What else?
Also energy, monitoring of energy consumption.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you take the energy, because if you really want to get technology, you need to know what you're going for and be able to speak the language to management so that they can understand and approve for you. And you must know exactly what in your current operations you will need technology for before you can now tell management we need to go for this technology. If you're not abreast with that, you really can't sell it as a decision for management.
Yeah, like we also learned in one of the classes, we need to have sufficient data to run technology. So if there's no basic data, it's no point, like a baseline, trying to use technology.
Exactly. We just take the example of the maintenance management now, right? If you don't already have a spreadsheet of your assets, your asset register, you can't deploy maintenance management module because that's the basic information is going to require you to upload into it. So it's going to have a data of all your assets, specifications, component types, equipment type, all the other details about them. And then it's going to ask you what kind of maintenance you do for them, right? For whatever kind of maintenance you do for each of those equipment type, you need to have a preventive maintenance a spreadsheet that will be uploaded or even manually entered in to say, for this equipment, we do this type of service, we do kind of service, this is frequency, and so on and so forth. And then before you can deploy that model. So if you don't already have things you are working with in spreadsheets format right now, the software will be useless to you because you have to start then to develop those data. Without the data, you can't get technology to work for you. Okay. All right, I'll stop there and get straight into today's lesson. Is my screen still visible to you? Workplace, how to advance our careers. Many of us have jobs today. If you don't remember how you got the job you have right now, always have it in mind that throughout your career, at one point or the other, you will need to remind yourself how to get a job, right? So everything you put in your CVs that landed in your job currently, you cannot abandon all of that activity because you have a job today. I used to say to my students, on a monthly basis, bring out your CV again and ask yourself what you have achieved this month. Update your CV and save. You're not looking for work, it's fine. But it's important that your CV does not become a dead document, filed off, only to be brought back to be edited in the future or any time when some dislocation happens. So that's the first thing you need to know. Your CV should be a working document. If at the end of the month, this month, you couldn't find any reasonable achievements to add to your CV, make it a goal next month to ensure you have a reasonable achievement, something you have, a new process you've deployed and giving results, a new skill you have learned that you are using to work, a new certification you've acquired, a new tool you've learned to use, a number of people that you work with, has it increased, has it reduced? You know, there must be something that adds value to you professionally and to your employer, in the productivity area that you must be able to update. And then you must make yourself available for networking. IFMA, IWFM, Social Facility Management Practitioner, which is the global national body of FM in Nigeria, require that we all play a role. We cannot be on the sideline. There are so many people in different positions in organizations today that don't even identify themselves with FM until something terrible happens. And then for those who are looking for work, please, I beg you, please, don't be greedy when you are trying to start out a career. I've seen so many people who have gotten themselves stuck in one rut or the other because there's a little money coming from there. They cannot do without the money when they are getting into a new career. You should appreciate what an apprenticeship or an internship does. I see some people who don't have work despising 50,000 allowance and 30,000 allowance or 80,000 allowance because it is not enough to meet their needs, my dear. When you are interning or apprenticeship, taking on an apprenticeship, you are still in school. So if it's going to be a 6 months, it's going to be a 1 year, have it in your head that this is part of my education. This is not a job yet, okay? And then, of course, there will be all kinds of job boards. But the truth is, the job boards that are specific to the FM industry is very important. And then updating your CVs and making sure training centers like Max-Migold have them in our archive helps us to always be able to remember you for opportunities, because we provide recruitment. Companies come to us for recruitment purposes, and we want to be able to make sure our students and graduates are always in the forefront of such opportunities. And whenever there is opportunities, we put them on the training platform, on the AFMPN platform in Telegram, and on alumni groups group in WhatsApp. Be available around those places. I've seen some people who are looking for work, and then they call me and say, I'm still looking for work. I'll now ask, there have been 15 new vacancies released inside the platform in the last 1 or 2 weeks. How many of them have you applied for? He has probably not even seen them or applied for them, or saw them and felt these are not relevant vacancies for me. But remembers to call me every month to say, I'm still looking for work. Now, that for me is a lazy approach of trying to find work. You will get work by following up on contacts, which is a key thing we're going to teach today. But you need to be able to take the advantages of whatever has been given to you. And then, like we say, looking for work is a full-time job until you find a job. If you are looking for work and you are taking it as a part-time job or a freelance, easygoing approach to finding work, then when you get the job, if you do get it, it will come late, or sometimes it takes a long time to find. And when you do get it, you probably are not even primed up for full-time work because you have been used to lounging around. So let's be conscious about that whole process. First, make your CV a living document, always update it, at least on a monthly basis, whether you're working or not. 2, network with the FM industry. Don't be stingy about the 10,000 naira annual fees or 15,000 naira annual membership fees that these associations take. Be a part of it, and ensure that you are able to take advantage of the opportunity of meeting people within those networks, because it is your network that determines your networks eventually. If you don't know people, or you are not open to work. When people are in associations or in networking environments, they always take on committee assignments, they take up steady roles, they try to fulfill some obligations. You should be available for such things, because that's what exposes people to you as someone who is useful, that they can give an opportunity to consider for something important or worth your while. All right, so the next thing I'm going to talk about on your path to workplace productivity is how to be your best self in your introductions. It's called Me in 30 Seconds. Me in 30 Seconds is how to introduce yourself. Elevator pitches, top headline or profile paragraph, profile summary paragraph in your CV, cover letters that you write to companies when you're applying. They require you to introduce yourself. Even when you attend interviews or fill application forms, there are paragraphs that you need to put down to tell the prospective employer who you are. This is a powerful way of creating your Me in 30 Seconds and having versions of it that applies to whatever you are targeting. Create your introduction with these 5 parts. Ensure you have your name in it, the job you want, that's your objective, why you will be good at that job, that's your qualification, some traits or skills that will help you succeed in that job, and then a commitment question. Number 5 is very important. You must have a commitment question ready as part of your Me in 30 Seconds. And it will be important for you to take your time to write a few scripts of Me in 30 Seconds that you can have handy for all of those occasions where I've just mentioned. Say an example. Hello, my name is AK Sonia, and I want a job as site facility manager in a mall. I have 3 years of site operations experience and a comprehensive FM training. My clients always rate me high on customer service. I'm a process-driven FM, and my teams give me their best efforts. What position would you need my skills and experience for? Now, that number 5, part of it can be any kind of question depending on the person you are talking with. If you already know the person has a vacancy, I would, would you require my skills and experience for so and so role in your company? If you don't already know and you think the person has a lot of opportunities and you want to treat yourself so you can get an opportunity to take up a job, then you use what position would you need my skills and experience for? This is something you can use in so many ways, in emails, in WhatsApp messages, in text messages, in cover letters, in application letters, in in all kinds of circumstances. So think about creating your own script for yourself of Me in 30 Seconds so that you don't give the wrong first impression. A powerful first impression will stand you out, will make you seem to be very professional. You'll be seen as somebody who knows what he's doing, and someone that will be desirable for any kind of team. The next thing is the biggest thing to happen to your CVs, the power statements. We talk about the skills we have, like some of the things we will see in the Me in 30 Seconds. I am a process-driven FM, right? So, yay, process-driven FM. That becomes a cliche if you don't have a power statement to back it up. For every skill, value, or strength that you express, you need to have a power statement to back it up. A power statement identifies a value, skill, or strength, give a specific example or accomplishment, show the results and match that value to the needs of the employer. You are making it direct. It's a sucker punch that drives home the fact that you are a process-driven FM. You can't just drop qualities, traits, skills the way we do. Drop them on line by line by line by line and submit the CVs. Those CVs go into the bin. Thank God we're no longer printing papers of CVs these days, but a typical employer, and trust me, I've employed at least 250 to 300 people personally, making the decision to hire in my career so far. And I can tell you that I don't have more than 20 seconds to know whether a CV is going to give me going to be the person I want to see or the person I don't want to see. If you have that long list of all those qualities I see in everybody's CV, your CV is shifted to the side. I delete it from my server. This is typical of most employers, because cliches and statements that are copied and pasted are everywhere, but that's not really what we are looking for. We are looking for that person who, you don't need to have so many skills. You need to take your time to look at the vacancy. If you are applying for a specific vacancy, see the key skills that they have highlighted as important. Add those skills to your mini 30 seconds introduction as the headline, and then use power statements in explaining what those skills are. What goes into a power statement? Identify the skill, give an example, show results, and match that value to the needs of the employer. I am creative and results oriented. That's typical, right? That's what we just drop around. But what does this mean? For example, at Max-Migold Limited, I created a new marketing plan and brochure that directly increased monthly sales by 15%. I have given not just a specific example, I have also shown results. Finally, I'm confident I can help to improve your company's sales in the same way and matching that value to the needs of the employer. This will definitely land you the interview. And you don't necessarily need to have 20, 30 skills listed. 4 skills that are targeting what the employer already says I'm looking for, backed up with power statements, will get you in the front door anytime you apply. You will never, ever send a CV again that somebody would not call you for an interview. All right. And then what are we really doing when looking for work? I explained some of this earlier on. We go online, we browse, we do some of that. The real jobs are available in the informal markets, the markets where jobs have not been advertised. As long as they are known, somebody is already known for the job. And that is the reality globally. It's not a connection or like a man, no man kind of thing in Nigeria. No, that's the reality. Most people who hire already has exactly what they're looking for. In some cases, they've seen who they are looking for, but they can't just bring the person in, except they have to go through a recruitment process that requires some advertisements and some interviews. So they will use you and who they know to create all of that. In some cases, someone else will be more qualified in an objective selection process. But again, you already stand out because you have been seen as somebody with high quality that could be given that job. So from adverts and internet, 65% are looking for work there, 14% are getting jobs there. Personal contacts with companies, 3% are actually looking here, but most jobs are available at 30% at this level. If you look at word of mouth, 5% are looking for work here, and 25% are finding jobs here. So it helps not to just keep quiet about your job search. It helps to broadcast that you are actively looking for work. Let people around you know that you're looking for, because you don't know who will be hearing at some point that a vacancy is opening up, and you might just be well on your way to facing that job. All right, and then when you get on interviews, we always go online to search common interview questions and blah, blah. Even employers, recruiters who want to do the interview, they too go there to search what are the typical answers when certain questions are asked, or what kind of questions should I ask to know this part and that part about the candidate, right? So what we have here is for you to know what specific tools to use to respond to different types of questions. Tell me about yourself. All those, I come from a family of 6 from Demili North in Anambra State or Imo State. Who cares? Just wasting your time. In fact, at the time you are doing that, someone is switched off from you. They just say this is not the candidate you are looking for. What should you have here? If they're asking you that kind of question, they're basically asking about your background, what prepared you for the role that you're really applying for. Your me in 30 seconds is a powerful, that's why you need to have several scripting of me in 30 seconds. What are your strengths? Does this experience meet our needs? I know of some candidates who will go about talking about, when they ask what are your weaknesses, they start talking about how being good became too good, and that is a weakness. Like, I'm always too aggressive in getting things done. I get results, and sometimes I brush on the ego of my colleagues, and that is a weakness. Forget those things. Let there be a real weakness that you want to talk about. Let there be a folly that you have learned from, that you have transformed into a positive, right? So you're not going to bring in anything still like criminal records into an interview or something incriminating, but you must think in advance and make notes of some things that will be relevant as witnesses to give it, because it shows if you are honest. If you are not honest, you try to hide away all your weaknesses, and that's not expected. At least employers see through all of that. How do you react to pressure? What do you expect to be paid? In fact, this is one question that is always contentious. And people will say things like, whatever is available, or you have a scale, pay me what is available, what is appropriate for my skill, and so on and so forth. What I normally would advise is use that opportunity to resell yourself and the value you bring to the organization. And one important thing that helps you at this point is if you can speak to certain things that affect the organization and how you're going to solve it. So that when you say, after you have done that a brief response, and you say, I think, so and so will be a good range to work with on this role. Especially range. I normally don't say 1 million, say 2 million. No. Have a range, something that you can live with if you actually win the job. And quite honestly, if you do win the job and you realize that they could have paid you more, right? Because you negotiated and you accepted because of desperation, you accepted a low pay and you resumed on the job. Don't allow that discourage you. In fact, do the job with extra fervor, extra vigor, extra vitality, extra commitment, extra loyalty, so that you can be bumped from that low pay to what you should have been paid for. I see many people who come in at a low, and because they came in at a low and discovered they actually came in at a low, they felt they should change themselves, they become disgruntled within 3 months. Their performance dips, their commitment is not there, they don't have loyalty. They end up worse off because they get fired, or worse still, they don't even learn the skills and experience they've come there for, and as such are useless today in this current company and also useless in whatever future company they hope they will be able to get into. So don't try that. No, your salary should not determine how well you commit, how much you put in to the organization. It shouldn't. In fact, if you put everything in when you're on a low salary, if you're not recognized for a bump up by the organization, you would have built the kind of muscles that will prepare you for the big job that the next administration is going to offer you. That is exactly what we advocate, okay? Before the interview, you need to study the employer and go prepared to ask good questions. You can also be prepared to add a question to a me in 30 seconds or a power statement. What other skills would you love? What other things are available, or is this a company going into? What is the direction of the organization? be ready to ask questions, not just go and say, oh, I've answered all the questions. I think I'm okay. No, no, no. In interviews, it's two-way. They interview you, ask intelligent questions, note them down. It helps them know that you prepared and that you care about them. You can to enough to do a research to have questions that they can give you feedback on. Any recruiter or employer will always remember you if you ask relevant questions that they gave you answers to during the interview. On the interview, they can pray for help and peace. Be polite and respectful. Be on time. You can't go late for interview. You can't. Oh, there's no excuse. If it is going to be something that is going to be complicated in terms of transport, go there before, well before. Show interest in the company and the interviewer. Smile and be pleasant. Act confidently. Speak clearly when talking. In terms of appearance, be clean, your face, your hands, your nails. Use moderate makeup for the women, moderate hairstyles as well. Smell good, but don't overdo it. All those choking the place with strong perfumes, don't even go there. Trim or shave facial hair for men. Look like a professional. Don't go looking all bushy up when you go for interviews, because you allow them an opportunity to stereotype you. If you do any kind of extreme, you are automatically stereotyped. You are grouped. You are seen as this type of person who we don't want, or that type of person who we don't want, right? And then for your dress, the word is clean and iron. No matter what you want to wear, nobody cares whether you're going to wear an expensive designer or not. No, nobody really cares, right? But don't wear any extreme of appearance. Dress one step above the work dress. If it's a job that can allow you to wear t-shirts and jeans, for example, wear a shirt, not a t-shirt to the interview, and wear a trouser, not a jeans. If it's one that will take a shirt and a trouser, have a jacket on it, one step up. If it's the one that you have to wear jackets all the time, have a tie in addition, and so on and so forth. And then you'll have forms to fill, personal information, education, employment, references, awards or recognition. They have different things they put in forms for you to fill. Read some of these tips and tools and tips. Use me in 30 seconds as often as possible. If possible, start with the highest degree of certificate and go backward. So chronologically, when putting your education and employment history, let it start from now and work your way backward. Be conscious of gaps. Be conscious of gaps. Employers always look for gaps in your forms or in your CVs. So if there is a gap, you must be able to explain why there is that gap, right? So you must indicate, that those number of years, on the line on its own, where you explain what you did with that time, okay? And then prepare at least one reference, get permission from the individual, a character reference, a professional reference, or a work reference, somebody that will reference your skills, so at least one of each. And then go prepared with it, because sometimes they need you to, give them a reference. They want to start checking up on you immediately. You can't tell them, I'll come back with that. So get ready for that. So you've just scaled the interview. You've gotten an award, a letter to resume, and you're now at work. And then what do? Forget it all. Forget the role that brought you in, and just sink into the job and forget anything about it. Many people work in some organizations for 10 straight years and can never imagine in their lives that there is something else other than that particular role they are in. So if there's any dislocation, any drawdown or any setback, they are completely lost. It's almost like, I don't know where to start from. No. The moment you resume on the job, start building your network. Use professional bodies you belong to, use the network of the industry you belong to, be visible. Use LinkedIn, for example. Know the people in the organization. Know what they do and how you can support them and how they can support you. Communicate clearly with others and show a good attitude and appearance. Don't act like you know it all or you don't need anybody in your organization. Good communication, a friendly atmosphere will increase productivity and will show you as a person that can work in a team. Work hard and provide value to your employers. Increase revenue, save costs, and increase or retain customers. Every organization needs these three things from every employee. If you are not helping to generate revenue, watch it. You are not adding value. If you are not helping to save costs, the organization using initiative to improve efficiencies and effective ways of doing things, and being able to showcase how these values are saving costs, you are not adding value. And then you can't be scaring away customers. You can't be doing things that draws customers away. You have to be doing things that brings in customers and helps to retain customers, no matter the kind of organization you work, whether it's for profit or non-profit. Think about these three things all the time and ask yourself, in this particular month that I'm working, what have I done for an organization to prove value? While you're doing all of that, those items are to help you secure your current job. But who wants to be in one position for all their career? You can't but start thinking about the future. You can't but start thinking about the next thing. Okay, somebody says the slides have not been moving. Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. That's why it was deliberate.
No, it wasn't. That's why I asked at the beginning, is my slide showing?
It's still showing, but not moving. It's not been moving.
Okay. Sorry about that. Is it moving now?
Yes, it's moving now.
Yes, it's moving now.
Okay. All right. Please don't wait till this long next time. All right. All right. So you have to stay on the path of progress. First thing, as soon as you settle down and you have done all of those things I highlighted in this place, you've secured your job by putting all the effort, networking, building leadership around you and working hard to show value. Your reporter always, you always be recommended. Don't get lost. The next thing is, what are the other positions you want within your organization? Even if there are some positions you want in other organizations, write them down. I had a friend once, he worked in the bank and he knew that he wanted to become there was a certain general manager position that he wanted to get to. So he set for himself a goal from entering as an entry-level graduate trainee. Within a year, he set for himself a goal of 9 years to become that general manager. So he wrote the positions he wants. And he knows exactly what courses he needs to take, what kind of transfers he needs to ask for so that he can be moving up towards that position. But then he now realized that typically it's been taking people 12 to 14 years within the organization to get to that position. He didn't have that kind of patience. You know what he did? He now included positions in other organizations that he would need to apply to, leave and go and work for a few years, apply back for the positions, either the very position he wants in this organization or the one right under it, so that within a few years, he will, a shorter number of years, and what he thought he couldn't do in 9 years, he was able to do in 6. But you see, my problem with most people that are working today is they hardly take time out to even plan ahead. Every time I hear of somebody they laid off and it's taking 6 months to find another job, I just shake my head. How bad has it been for you that you couldn't get another job? What were you doing in the 10, 12, 15 years you were in that job that you couldn't find another job, my dear? That is a problem we have in our system today. People are looking for work, but they're not good for the work that are available. The jobs that are available don't have the people that can do it, because those people who worked for years and lost their jobs, they weren't good at the job they were doing. They were not meeting these requirements I put here. Success on the job, they were not adding value. And two, they were not doing the things that will prepare them for the next role. So when they get dislocated, they're out. They start thinking about buying and selling. So how do you move? Once you've listed the positions you want, the skills and knowledge you will need to get there, you also need to know them. So whether it's going to be an MBA in so and so, whether it's going to be a certification in so and so, whether it's going to be a training here and there, you need to research and create it. It's called your personal or professional development plan. You need to create it, write it. So and so position is what I would like to be next after where I am. I will need to have this certification. I will need to have this study. I need to take this course. I need to do that. I need to do that. You write them down. You put dates. That's ways to gain the skills and knowledge. Don't make it wish. Don't make it all those prayer points you write and go and do night vigil and all day Monday morning service in the morning in churches and hope that a miracle will happen. Put down your plans. I know that many people want to excel at what they do, but they're also not able to tell the difference between seed and fruits when they have their first 5 years of salaries. They will take the first 5 years of salaries and treat it like fruits. They start buying land that they will not be able to build in the next 10 years, for example. Start buying cars because it's too inconvenient to be wearing suit and entering a bus because the vehicle, the job requires you to wear suit, and so on and so forth. You just make all kinds of wrong choices. The first 10 years of earning as a fresh graduate, all that income, see it as seed investment funds. So as you are writing down the skills and knowledge you need, certifications, the training, the degrees you need to add up, you have that time to just keep putting them into it. And that includes those of us who use our first incomes for the first few years to carry burdens of extended families in our head. We end up endangering our capability or capacity to earn more, to take good care of those problems later. Those problems now become what kills our career and will become eventually useless to the same family we don't want to help and solve. No. For the first few years, you are still trying to build, you're still trying to invest, you're still trying to grow yourself. Don't be in a hurry to start enjoying the fruit of your labor. You don't have fruit yet. There are still seeds. And then you move on to the next step. As you're working hard and delivering on this productivity aspect, you're also working hard and taking care of your progress. And then technology. Many are out of work today because of technology. Technology did not do anything to them. They were just lazy to open their minds to the future. So many people were in printing industry, many were in photography industry, many were in banking industry where everything was still tellers and ledgers and books and spreadsheets for some. Now, sophisticated systems are moving. Learn them. In fact, learn them before they become a threat to your job. In architecture school those days, our lecturers will teach you how to do CAD, computer-aided design. They don't know. The curriculum does not even have that level of CAD content, let alone, so they're not even challenged. So as students, if you didn't go to find a lesson, find one software, find a way to save and buy one laptop and start practicing on your own, by the time you graduate, you are already useless. And the worst part in my time was there were some people who did not even go to school. They called themselves draftsmen. They went to cyber cafe to go and learn how to use AutoCAD. They've already taken up all the available jobs for young architects. When you spend 7 years in school, you come out, you are useless, nothing to do. Because you are still trying to use stencils and paper to draw. You can't do that to yourself.
Why? Please don't ask for original. The why alone. I bet send me. I say okay. Oh, okay. He would like me to know original. But I ain't this one. No, they don't where. You go clean everything. Come on now. I show you one. Can you show you one? Oh, I want this too. Now Zoom can go see the work.
Effective writing. When you write, always think of every writing as a professional writing. Somebody says you can't hear anything. Is my audio coming through for others?
I can hear you, sir.
I can hear
I can
you,
also
sir.
hear.
Okay. All right. I think the class admin is also asking that you guys who don't have your name on your screen to please remain. You can't have a device name as your name in class. Okay, I think that has been done. Everybody has been named properly. All right. Okay. All right, so when you write, put the reader first, use simple words and short sentences, use jargon only when necessary, write verbs and nouns, which means let every statement be exactly what it's intended, format to improve readability. Sometimes you write into a cluster. If you format into paragraphs, into outlines that you have a list and the rest, it will improve readability of what you are writing. So whether it's a report, whether it's an essay, whether it's an article, whether it's a training content, it helps to simplify and make it easy to read. So people can actually look at your document and then decide whether they want to glean through, just pick up the main items, or read in details. Whatever approach, you should be able to get something out of it. Okay. Don't try to impress. Too many of us use words that don't make any sense. Too many repeating words just to increase our vocabulary. And don't forget this aspect of what's in it for me, right? Whoever you are writing to wants to see what's in it for him. So you are writing to convince, to convey a message, and that should be clear enough from the onset in whatever writing you're doing. Use simple words and short sentences. You can see some of the things given here. You can see how an 18-word statement can become an 8-word statement, you know, and so on and so on. We'll get several robust examples of how to do this. So don't try to make it look as if you write simple and short, people will not appreciate your literary prowess. You're not trying to impress when writing professionally, okay? So wording propositional phrases like in the amount of, in order to, due to the fact that, in the event that, during the time that, you see this is very common in many, most of the writings, both in emails and write-ups. It's not necessary. Now, editors like Microsoft Office editor, Grammarly and the rest, they help you see the irrelevance of some of these things we put in. And then jargons, use jargon only when necessary. Jargon is a particular acronym, short form that is understood by only a certain group of people, right? So instead of using jargons, simplify it, but use the words that almost everybody can understand you're writing about. The new FMI system from Global provides VRO/DME nav redundancy, as well as enhanced GPS capability. Global's new flight management system provides several ways to navigate your airplane, including the latest in satellite navigation. These are both saying the same thing, but one is full of jargons and the other is straightforward and easy. Even if you are saying this to a specialist consultant or somebody who is supposed to be grounded in the industry, he will still appreciate the second approach. Choose the right verb and the right noun. Mr. Johnson ran quickly across the 4-lane streets, almost falling down when he stepped in a large hole in the concrete. 22 words. Mr. Johnson sprinted across the boulevard, stumbling when he stepped in a pothole. 13 words. So in essence, being able to combine the right verb and noun will give you the least number of words to convey the same information. And then let's think about the active voice. This is very important. The active voice identifies the actor, the actee, and what's its subject, what's being done, right? The company sells insurance, so there is a subject, verb, and object. Not insurance is sold by the company. The construction crew repaired the road. Not the road was repaired by the construction company. Tests showed the new material did not wear well. Not when tests were run, it was discovered that good wear is not exhibited by the new material. In this last statement, you can see that who ran the test is missing. It was discovered by who is missing. So in a sense, the S, the subject in this case, is always obscure. It's called a passive writing approach, not very much appreciated these days in professional writing. And then to make your writing readable, please use bullets, use charts, use tables, use indents, use italics, bolds, headings, and subheadings to organize your thoughts in such a way that it makes it easy for someone to understand and go along with. And then plan, organize, and write. As you begin, assemble all useful information, determine what's important, choose what to leave out, and group information logically. When I want to write anything, if I want to write a consulting report, if I want to write an annual FM report, if I want to write, anything, I put all the materials I want to use together. It's almost like a scrapbook. And then I start going through them and editing by cutting off. And then later I start rearranging, putting things up and down. And then before I start making my own sentences to concisely present the information I'm trying to present. And how to plan, organize, and write, division, compare, contrast, cost effects, problem analysis solutions are just ways to plan, organize. We'll look at them. Division, start with the main idea, then discuss the parts. Examples are given. FM Limited faces 4 problems that threaten its competitiveness, right? With a colon, you can now make a list. The main idea is already there, and then these are the factors. And then compare and contrast, use familiar to explain unfamiliar. Pull the conclusion up front. For example, if we expand in the West, we face the same challenges as we did in expanding to the South. What are those challenges? Lack of identity, poor distribution, and so on and so forth. You're breaking it down. But the main idea was first presented. And then the problem analysis solution, find a straightforward way to offer recommendations. For example, the shipping dock's inability to ship product fast enough results from an inefficient tracking system. The solution is to, you put the solutions. So problem analysis solution. You've given the problem, you've given the analysis, that's you understand the problem, and then you've given solution in a simple paragraph using list or outline. And then the cost effects presents a clear way analysis. A to B to C to D, A, B, C, D to E. Example, reorganizing the marketing department will cost 2 benefits and 1 problem. So what are the benefits? What are the problems? Improve accountability, better communication, and then the problem, poorer service to industrial customers. So in essence, you can present, instead of creating 2 paragraphs or 2 subheadings, when you don't have too many points on both, you want to put them together in one, you can use this cost effect approach. And then, of course, when you write, you start by putting down your thoughts, easiest part first. Develop major sections one at a time. Introduce introduction for the main ideas, main point in the first paragraph. Don't turn off your internal editor. This is very important. Allow your editors that you have in your computers to help you when writing. So many of the mistakes that we carry along in our writing can be avoided or prevented if we just turn the editor on and allow the editor to highlight areas that we can. Not everything the editor tells you will change, right? But at least let the editor make some effort to help you correct or improve your writing. 90% of writing is rewriting and editing. Let the document cool, run a fork test, aim to cut first draft by at least 10%. What it means is when you finish writing, don't just ship off that writing. You finish writing a report and then off. Because you're writing close to deadline, you have so many mistakes. But if you write and let it cool, and then you come back, you know, when you have done other things to look at it, you probably will see some things that are different. If you read it again and again and again and again on the same spot, you probably not pick up a few things as well. Office email is, you know, major tool that we use to work these days. It's informal and personal. Research says visit or phone call often is better than for your image than email. Many of us are used to, you know, shipping emails about, you know, doing all kinds of stickers on email. Don't forget that email is always on record. Don't also forget that email is not your property. It belongs to your employer. So if you go and do anything off color, put some salacious or some incredulous items on email or say some jokes that are off color, for example, be ready that that is a major evidence that can become a big you know, stain in your profile or your history in that organization and even later. When you put to, those are the people that are addressed to in the email. If you put a carbon copy, that's the CC, they're not direct recipients, they are kept in the loop, they're supposed to read. Sometimes people who are CC may jump into the conversation, but ideally it shouldn't be. BCC, blind carbon copy, the email is sent to many people. I don't want all of them to see each other's emails, or you just want some people to see but not interact with the email, right? To manage some office politics and other things that that you probably need while you're probably doing that. Not highly recommended to blind copy someone who you don't want others to know you blind carbon copy. It's actually not a good thing for your own image or the image of whoever you are blinding out of. When they find out that somebody who was blind carbon copy actually received that message, it can become a big scandal. So they operate more transparently by copying, not blind carbon copying, especially when it's the routine types of emails. And then we'll put some things about, you know, writing in the secrecies, things that you can learn from them. It's almost like going back to common mistakes in English and thinking of those things. Things you probably have forgotten. And because so many people use some of these things continuously, we tend to just see them as normal. One common thing I see in emails and writings are revert. What does it mean to revert? It's so common, but it's a rubbish word. Doesn't mean what it says, because people that say I'll revert probably mean I'll respond, I'll come back to you later, but I'll revert simply means I'll change. You know, if you revert back to me, it means you want to change to me at some point, which I really don't know why we do, but it's so common. So don't overlook some of those common errors and think that because it's common, everybody accepts it as an error that can be accommodated. No, it's not. Okay, so that's the whole idea of this. Your professional level is determined by how well you write. Okay, so some of these rules to guide, to remind us, not necessarily trying to teach us secondary school English, but in professional settings, we need to know these things. We need to be able to use them because they help us to show that we are growing, that we are improving, that we're getting better at what we do. And then the executive summary, which is the most important aspect of every document you prepare, is what goes to management as a cover note, right? It prepare it last. It has to be short that somebody can be able to read it in 20 minutes or less and get the full gist of everything that is in the whole document, no matter how long that document is. So we just put some guidelines, information that should all please take time to read and incorporate into how you do your work. I like this one, the oops factor. Some mistakes are not even obvious until you've inked them in and you realize, oh yeah. Sometimes you may think that you know how to spell receipt or receive. Is it EI or IE? You can get into that rut of that error continuously. After a while, you have to memorize the correct approaches to those kind of edits. But nowadays, the editors, I love Grammarly. I love the Microsoft editor. They are all powerful tools, and you have free versions, of both that you can actually use to take care of your work. We give quite a robust amount of examples, statements, suggested changes, just to give you a hand of practicing how to edit, how to improve in professional writing, layout and outlook in delivering on work that you provide. Okay, and I've heard some people say things like, "Oh well, I'm a facility manager. I'm not an English major. I'm not this." Look, my dear, I hate to spill it out, but that's the reality. You are not seen as a proper professional, whether engineering background or facility management or anything, if you can't express yourself in professional language, professional writing. So all of these practice ideas and suggestions we're putting out here is just to help you improve and get better. Because at the end of the day, when they're looking for somebody to take on a major role tomorrow, they're going to look for someone that is not going to embarrass the organization, who's not going to write a proposal to send out or write a letter to client that is like, who writes this kind of thing? You can't get qualified people to do your job and so on and so forth. You don't want to be in that situation, right? So you need to be able to improve on all of these aspects of writing. Okay. I'm going to ask that we take your questions. So many of these items I would want you to read. You heard everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, super. Super. So I take it that it sank in, we're all good, and there's no questions, right?
No questions, sir. Hello, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Alfred Faji, sir.
Yes.
Sir, mine is not a question per se, but it seems to be a lot of requests here. This session of the class, I think I'm taking it personal. For me, it's a personal thing, and there are aspects of it that I've seen that has affected me personally, and I will want to make a request to have a session of discussion personally with you or with either of you.
I don't think I'm getting you correctly. Your audio is coming off and on, cracking.
Okay, hello, sir.
Let's hear again, try.
Okay, what I'm saying, sir, is that this aspect of the class, of the training, sir, I'm seeing it as it's hitting me personally. And
okay.
what I want to make a request. If discuss with you.
Now, when you get to that, my request, you go
Yes,
deal. You start from there, my request.
Okay, I'm saying that my request is that if it is possible to have a discussion with you one-on-one.
Oh, okay, I see. Yes. Why not?
Yes, sir.
Why not?
Off the class.
Sure. You can send a chat. You can send a chat, and then we'll set up an appointment, so we'll have a call, right?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, chat me on WhatsApp, and then we can have a call.
Okay, sir. All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Taiwo, are you there? Taiwo, are you in class? I'm seeing you, but I don't know if you are listening in. Taiwo Ekundayo.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Okay, Taiwo, you're in class. So I need us to have a call after the class today. Is that okay?
Pardon me?
I want us to have a call after the class today.
Okay, that's fine, sir. No problem.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes. All right. So any other question, comment about the class?
Hello, sir. I have a question. I've got it on the chat. I'm in a noisy place, so I don't want to speak.
So please, so you use that, start using that formula that I explained to you guys now. So that's this from this July 1st. Restoring your own, having your own record. You understand? So the problem that we'll be having is how Daddy could access it when he wants to fill it.
Can you speak closer to the mic? I can barely hear any word. Speak into the mic. Bello, right? Who is talking? Is it Bello Tokumbo? Yeah. Is that network? Let's try something. Let's video and see if everybody link. Go ahead and try.
But you get the OneDrive. So but who owns the control of the physics? So you see, it's funny when you see you just off your side. So for now, everybody. So I can add that this zone. That this zone is my concern.
Did anyone else hear you? Maybe it's my network. I didn't hear anything.
So which one drive? The work. So as long as are you not? I can.
Bello is not talking to the class, right?
Mr. Osasa, see.
All right, guys. Have a nice evening. Bye. See you on Friday.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.